So let's continue with some of the remaining challenges in this lecture. So we are up to this challenge number 6, and now it's time to just solve this challenge 7. So let's see this function, what this function is doing. So it is clearly a JavaScript function, and it is saying us something like just pass dog, cat, bird and mouse. So if you just pass here, it is showing up to YAMO. So after YAMO, it is invisible over here. That means title can only contain 12 character. So this is made in a such way that this title can only take only basically 12 character. So if you want to do something like SVG, which was our SVG vector, and unload, and if you want to pass the alert message of maybe 1 here, and if you just close this, it is not valid, because if you see here in this title, only up to unload is loaded. After that it is invisible. That means it will only allow 12 character. So this payload is not valid in this context. So we have to do something else. So we have given some hint over here. So if you see, if I just pass dog and if I put hash, then it is just going to the next line. So if I just now put cat, so cat is in the next title, and if I just put hash again and put bird, then the bird is in the next title. That means it is in the next line. So we can take advantage of this hash in order to make our complete payload. So our payload would be SVG obviously, and after that you can just pass something like a. This is the normal attribute, so you can pass anything over here. So I'll just pass that is equal, and now hash, because I want the next line to be in the next line, because the next part what we just write here will be in the next line. So now I'll just pass first of all the unload method. So I'll just say unload, and in this unload you have to first of all make the payload first, and now I have to again make hash, that is for the next line. And now I'll just give prompt, or basically you can also give the alert message, and if I just close this, which was the unload is been closed, and now if you just run this, if I just hit enter, nothing is happening because this part is not prompted. That means we have to just make use of escape character to encode this. So I'll just put here escape character, and basically I have to also put this asterisk and the same over here, because this is the way to comment. So if you just see here, it has been commented now. That means this part has been commented, because anything after this unload is useless, because we don't want this whole part to be included on payload. Because if I just run my Sublime and show you what the payload look like, so here our simple payload will be SVG, and it would be /a, which would be any attribute, and we'll have unload method, and in this unload you will simply call your prompt. So it should be prompt of 1. So this will be your complete payload. But if you see here that anything after this equal sign has to be neglected. So anything after this equal sign is this much part. So this much part should be neglected. The basically what is selected over here, so this much part should be neglected because this is not the part of the payload. So we put here comment sign. You can see here the comment sign will just neglect this part and will make our complete payload to be executable. So again, if I just execute this and it is again not working, let's see why it is not working, because we have to see where this payload is injected. So let me just copy this first and remove, and let me say first hello, and let's see where this is reflected. So I'll just say Control U, Control F, and hello, and it is not reflected here. So let's see where the script is reflected. So basically it is reflected over here. So it is reflected in the title. That means we have to customize our payload, because this SVG vector cannot be included inside this title. So we have to first close the title. So in order to close the title, you have to first close this title attribute and p class or p attribute after that. So this is our prompt, or this is our complete payload. So you can see it is giving us a prompt saying you win or you won. So we have made this advanced payload over here. So it was basically the simple onload, but this title has allowed only the 14 character. That means we have to just customize the payload, and you know that the vector should be included outside of the HTML tag. So we first of all close the attribute of the title, and after we just closed that, we just close the p attribute or p tag of the HTML, and we'll just launch our SVG tag or SVG vector over here. So this is some of the technique in order to just customize your payload. So now let's see for the next challenge, that is challenge number 8. So let's see this function here. It is saying prevent input from getting out of the comment, strip of line, break, and stop. So it is basically replacing some of these characters over here, and it is returning the one that is basically the single quote over here, and it is just consoling us the input. So let's see, we have the two challenges to be solved in this level. So first challenge would be to use the valid JavaScript line separator. So if you just remember, we have something like a line separator that is /n, and it can be also /r line separator. So these are the line separator, that is /r, and next one would be /n. But if you see here, this is not valid. So anything you write is a /n and /r has been included into the console log because it is been replaced. So we need to find the alternative way to comment out our code, because commenting with this is basically inside here. So we have to now do two challenges. So first challenges would be to make use of the line separator by not this code. Instead you have to make use of other code, and the next way is to comment out the code. So let's see how this can be done. So if you just have any knowledge about the line separator, there is a UTF code for that. So for UTF for the line separator will be U, and you have to give +2028. So this is the line separator code, or a character that will return some is basically inside the console log. So let's see how this works. So if I just pass here U and add it and just 2028, and if I just close this down, so first of all it should be here. So this is your line separator. So line separator UTF code. So you can simply inject something like, so let me show you a quick example here. So if I just make a script, and now if I say that console and .log, and here I'll just prompt me1 and close this, and after you just close this one and close your script, so you could see something happening over here. So it has replaced some of the characters like a line space and something like that, but you can see the console log is just printed out here. So we have to make use of the challenges, that is to make use of a UTF coding, or basically the line separator. So let's make our 12 or basically 14 length character payload over here. So first of all you have to give your line separator, which is this code. After that you have to make use of the prompt and give the 1, and again you have to just close this line separator because we want something out of this part. So 28, that is same code over here. So we made use of this. Now if you just see, this is inside the comment, so we have to first of all close the comment. So closing the comment in HTML is with this code. If I hit enter now, so it is not working. Maybe we have made, okay, let me see, it is in the console log. Okay, let me just make this as alert and let's see what happens. So it is not working. Okay, this is, let me just put here and let's see, and again it is not working. So maybe let's put this commenting and let's see, and this is not working, maybe due to the line separator or the browser incompatibility. So let's give rid of this and let's see for the challenge A. So we'll just work with that in the later section. So here we just pass hello and it was reflected right at this script. That means, and this is challenge A. So if I just give something like prompt and 1, then it is saying okay, you are getting this. So that means it is inside here. So whatever you write here was reflected right at the middle of the script. So we'll work with the other challenges in the upcoming lecture, but you can also go through this link, which is the GitHub link over here. So you'll get access to this link in the resource section. You can just check this out and you can get the description, everything about the XSS vector. Just make sure you just give this a go, because these challenges are really advanced challenges, and if you have the documentation like this, which has the levels information, code and the solutions, and it has also the background info, which is very useful. So make sure you go through it and you will see everything, the solution over here, even the hidden challenges. So you can just check this out, and I'll just see you in the next one.